Hello Maths Legends, today we're going to look at probability experiments and showing the outcomes as fractions and understanding that they are represented between 0 and 1.
Okay boys, before we get started, really important we understand some of the language that we're going to use today during this lesson. And the first one is the word experiment, which is the activity of the unknown results that we're going to find out. So it's like the same as saying that we're going to flip a coin, or we're going to take a card out of a deck, or we're going to pick out a coin out of a bag. A trial is the one performance of the experiment. So a trial might be, flipping the coin once. That's the trial. An outcome is actually the result of that trial. So did it land on a heads or did it land on a tails? And the favorable outcome is what we're actually looking for. So what we want to occur. So for an example, if we've called heads, we're hoping that it will land on a head. So that's our favorable outcome. And the sample space is the list of all of the different possible outcomes. Now, before we move on, it's important for us to know that all of our different outcomes, if we turn them into fractions, will lie between 0 and 1. Now, 0 always means that it is impossible. So something will definitely not happen. It cannot happen. It won't happen ever. All the way through to a 1, which is certain, which means that it will definitely happen. There is no possibility at all that it will not happen. And then through that, we've got unlikely or likely, and then an even chance, which is exactly 50-50. We're going to move on now and have a little bit of a look at some different examples, and we're going to look at sample space as well as we're going to look at favorable outcomes as well. It's important to know that when we do our fraction, though, that we're going to look at the number of favorable outcomes over the top of the number of possible outcomes. And by doing this, it will be able to work out what the fraction is by either using a calculator or working it out using division in our books. So if we have a look on the first one, it says a toss of a coin for a tail. Now I know that our possible outcomes are either a tail or a head. Now I know that we're looking for a tail, so the favorable outcome is 1, which is a tail, and there are 2 possible outcomes, which is 2. So we know that to toss a coin and land on a tail, we're looking at 1/2. If we're going to turn that then into a decimal, that'd be 0.5. If we roll a 6-sided dice and we want it to land on a 5, well, we know that all possible outcomes of a dice are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We're going to land on a 5. So that's one possible outcome. So we have one possible outcome, and there are 6 numbers on the dice, so we have 6. So it would be a 1 in 6 chance. I want you to stop now the video and have a go at C, D, and E for me, and then I'll come back and I'll go through the working for you. Okay, let's have a quick look. Now, gents, hopefully that wasn't too difficult. It says to choose the Queen of Hearts from a pack of playing cards. Now, without writing all the packs of playing cards down, I know that there are 52 cards in a deck, but there's only one Queen of Hearts. So I know that there is one favourable outcome, and the sample space, or the amount of possibilities, is 52. It says to roll a 6-sided dice and get an even number. Well, let's have a look over here again. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 on our dice. 2, 4, and 6 are even numbers. So we have 3 favourable results, and there are 6 in our sample space, or the outcomes that we have altogether. And the last one we have there is choose a blank card from a pack of cards. Now, if I have a look at that one there, I go, a blank card. Are there any blank cards in a deck of playing cards? No, there is not. So even though there is 52 cards in a deck, there are 0 blank cards. So it would be 0 out of 52, which means it would be absolutely impossible. Thanks, gents. If you have any problems, please write down any of your questions in your diary and bring them armed for your maths lesson.